Hi guys, so in a recent video I picked up this Hero Quest as well. I used to play D&D some time ago. I'm looking to get back into that, but also I'm about to play the game with my kids, and this is definitely a nice sort of starter set to do that. And obviously I painted a few of these little miniatures up, and I was asking you guys to let me know recommendations of where I can get, well, more sort of STLs so I can 3D print more miniatures and terrain, as I want to make well, a full terrain Dungeons & Dragons board game sort of thing. So I recently came across a company called World Forge Miniatures over at my mini factory, and yeah, as you can see, they do a whole variety of terrain pieces as well as little miniatures, which is pretty cool. As I say, I want to sort of print off and make my own Dungeons & Dragons full sort of board looking set with a variety of walls, props, cupboards, doors, all the rest of it, as well as obviously printing off some miniatures as well. And as you can see, yeah, it's a shed load here, so go check them out. There's a link down below. But they are also giving away a free STL for you to try, just so you can sort of see, well, see the quality of what they make, which is pretty cool. And what they're giving away is this Goblin Shaman, and I thought, well, as they're giving that one away, it'd be good for me to sort of print it, paint it, and you can see just how good it is. But rather than slapchop paint it or grimdark sort of style painting it, I wanted to make it look nice and, well, more colourful. So I thought I'd have another go at the old cell shading or cartoon comic book style. So as you can see, I primed it in a nice white and got up my little handle here from red grass. As always guys, there are links down below to pretty much everything I use here. Some of it are affiliate links, so it doesn't cost you anything, but I get a few pennies from it, and some of it isn't affiliate links. So something else I am trying out in this one, and that is these paints by TT Combat. And they recently sent me a variety of paints, so as you can see here, I've got them in kind of groups. As with the cell shading, it is a case of, well, using sort of strong, vibrant colours and different shades of the colours. So I've got my blues, my oranges, my browns and my greens. As you can see, yeah, I've got sort of dark ones, light ones and, well, medium ones, as I'm not too sure which ones I'm going to use yet. But I am going to paint the whole thing in sort of the darker looking colours and then go over it with the, well, the stronger, brighter colours. And as you can see, I'm using the Red Grass Games wet palette here, just so, well, the paints obviously last longer when I am painting. So yeah, these TT Combat paints, never used them before. Love the really small thin nozzle at the end, so the paint comes out really nice. And yeah, they do seem quite strong, vibrant colours. And as I always say, you can never have enough paints, even though some people might disagree with me on that one. Yeah, I've got a shed load of paints, but I do love trying out the new ones from different sort of companies, just to see how well they fare. As always, there are some paints that are going to work better than others, and we've all got our own sort of separate tastes in what we like to sort of see in sort of paints and how they look. So yeah, it's always worth trying out new ones. So I have done this style of cartoon sort of painting a few times now, and yeah, it's one of these things where I don't think you'd be able to paint a full army this way, as it does take a whole lot longer, especially obviously compared to speed paints, which are, well, as we all know, pretty fast. So with the cartoon style, it is a case of getting all the sort of base colours on, so going over the whole miniature, painting every single sort of part in the colours required. And the great thing about this part is it doesn't really matter so much if you do sort of like paint over the area that you shouldn't paint over, because what I normally do is get all the colours on, and then once it's all done, then go round and do, well, a bit of sort of tidying up, just to sort of clean up any edges. Although that being said, you almost don't really need to do that, because then the last stage, which you'll probably see coming up obviously, and that is when you get the black lining bit. But anyway, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Back to the painting of the normal colours here. So say, yeah, with these TT paints, they do seem to have that extra long little nozzle, which is really nice, because then when you do squeeze it out, you only get like a small amount rather than a big old blop coming out. And as we all know, I don't like wasting stuff, so it's nice just to get a small amount of paint, which I can then use, and if I need more, yeah, I can get more out. If you use the paints by TT Combat, let me know how you got on with them down below. As I say, yeah, in general, they've gone on really, really nice. I don't know, again, this is the only problem I have, is when it comes to shaking the bottles, I don't have any kind of, well, any kind of proper shaker other than my wrist. And yeah, give them a good old shake. Sometimes they seem to come out really sort of lovely and thick, and sometimes they come out a little bit more, well, translucent. So yeah, some of these paints I did have to go over and give 2 coats. But again, that might be, well, their sort of selling point is that the paints are that little bit thinned down, and yeah, do require sort of 2 coats. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about paints. I know I like using paints. I know I like trying out different kinds of paints. So yeah, there are, I know, obviously the old paint experts out there. Yeah, let me know how you got on with the paints by TT Combat. If you are new here and like what I do, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, as I am producing, well, a couple of videos every week to do with painting miniatures, 3D printing, and yeah, making sort of small dioramas, and I say soon to be some D&D, well, terrain pieces for some one-shots that I'm looking at making up. And while you're there, also hit that like button and yeah, share where possible and leave some comments down below, as I love seeing what you guys, well, are saying about my videos. As I do always read the comments, even if I don't always, well, respond. And yeah, no excuse guys for not responding, I just, yeah, don't always respond. But anyway, yeah, keep leaving the comments, because I say it does help me out. Let me know what you think of what I'm doing, as well as you guys give me tips, tricks and, well, ideas of other things for me to do, which is just awesome. So back to the painting, and yeah, continuing on with the lovely sort of TT Combat paints. And I say, yeah, in general they seem to go on really well. Yeah, a few cases where I had to go and do 2 coats, but that's not too bad. Yeah, so I've only done this a couple, well, I think I've done this is about the 3rd, maybe the 4th time I've tried the comic book sort of style shading. And like you guys, obviously I watch a lot of other YouTubers and how they paint and how they do things. And yeah, a lot of them do seem to make this process look a lot easier than it probably is. Because the thing I find weird about doing this is doing them in like the block colours. They look, well, like block colours. And because I got so used to doing the slapchop painting technique, where you get such a lovely sort of contrast in the paints, yeah, with these it looks a bit too uniformed. But it's a case of persevering and just keep going. And I always find that when I've done this, so I've only done it a few times, it's not until right near the end that it actually starts to look, well, like a comic book cell shaded thing. Prior to that, it looks like some kids painting by numbers, and yeah, not necessarily doing a great job of that as well. But anyway, enough of that waffling. Let's get back to the serious job of painting. So he's pretty much got like sort of 1 coat all over. So some of it does need touching up. Plus this is where I go in now and try and be a lot neater with all my painting. As I say, some areas I may not have painted properly, or some areas I've gone over the wrong sort of area. So yeah, so this is definitely where, unlike the speed paint, where if you do go over the wrong area, it can sometimes mess it up a little bit, depending on what kind of colour you're then going to try and put over the top of the previous sort of speed paint. But at least with these paints, yeah, you can sort of paint a yellow over a brown, or pink over a red, or whatever it is, because these are obviously nice and thick. So that all being done, this is now where we do the lighter shade of each and every sort of paint we've done. And again, this is where I'll say I've watched other YouTubers and they make this bit look so easy, as they seem to know where to paint. Yeah, generally I just sort of make it all up. It does generally go on higher areas, but not necessarily all of the higher area. Because obviously the idea here isn't to have sort of the darker areas in nooks and crannies. It is just a case of having 2 different sort of styles of paint, or 2 different sort of colours. Yeah, you can see what I'm trying to sort of do, even if I might not be able to say it. And it's a case of just doing lines here and there. I mean, there may well be a specific way of doing this, or areas that you should do this. But yeah, I'm doing it almost higgledy-piggledy, definitely more raised areas than lower areas. And again, not always sort of doing full areas. But yeah, so it's a bit of fun, but this is the bit where I'm doing it and I'm thinking, is this going to work out? And again, guys, this is where if you do have a go at doing this for the first time, yeah, keep persevering. Even if it feels like it's not working and it's not going to look right, keep going, because it's not until you start doing the black lining bit at the very end where it all seems to tie in and start looking, well, kind of how it should really. So I really would like to paint an orc kill team this way, but say unfortunately I'm not sure if I've got the patience, as each one of these does seem to take, well, it took me a good sort of, I don't know, 4 hours or more doing one. And I know a lot of guys are going to go, 4 hours? Yeah, I spend that just doing highlighting or something. But say for me, because I am so used to doing the speed painting and getting, well, I can get a whole sort of team done in, well, a couple of hours, if that. So yeah, to spend so much time on one does seem, to me, a long time. But yeah, I would love to see an orc kill team done this way. Well, in fact, I have. I've seen other people do it, and yeah, certainly with better skills than me, and their teams just look amazing. I say my main sort of theme or style of painting is definitely more grimdark, as I do like things to look weathered, beaten, bashed, and that sort of look. But every now and then, yeah, I do like this sort of more Disney style, I guess, as it is obviously more vibrant colours. So that's the main painting done. Now on to the other fun part, trying to draw in or paint in black lines. On a couple of the previous videos where I've had a go at doing the cell shading, if you go and watch those guys, you'll see me use a very fine pen, which is good. Unfortunately, it does seem to ruin the pens quite easy trying to paint or draw on this stuff. So the pens are cream crackered. So I'm going to actually have a go at doing this one by, yeah, drawing on or painting on black lines with my brush. And whilst I've got a reasonably steady hand, my eyesight isn't obviously all the best. And yeah, trying to get just a small amount of paint on the brush is kind of difficult. Although I think in this case, I'm probably better off using some sort of an ink rather than a paint, because the paint does seem, well, a whole lot thicker. Yeah, and especially the more time it is on my little palette there, the more it's obviously dries out. So yeah, I reckon I should have done this on the wet palette again, or as I say, possibly using an ink of some kind, just because then it would be able to get a nice precise, yeah, thinner line. But as this is meant to be a comic style thing, it doesn't matter if some of the lines are thicker, or even if a line starts off thin and then goes thick, or vice versa. It is just a case of getting lines in, yeah, everywhere. And again, this is another reason why this does take quite a lot of time, as the more detail your sort of model's got, yeah, the more black lines you're going to have to do. And obviously once you think you've done all of it, it is a case of looking around, making sure, and then adding some more black lines. And then the last thing to really do is just do some little hash lines, which are kind of meant to be like shaded areas or darker areas or worn areas. So yeah, just a couple of lines next to each other here and there, or even doing the old sort of noughts and crosses kind of line. Again, trying to get thin lines here can be tricky, but again, I think that just adds to the whole effect of this looking like it was a like a drawn 2D looking thing. So I don't think you can go too wrong, he says. But yeah, it is a case of just having a go, trying it out, see if you enjoy it. I say I kind of enjoy it, but it is just a much longer process, and yeah, it doesn't ever look like it should do until you get near the end, which is why when I am painting it, sometimes I almost give up thinking, yeah, this is never going to look good. But no, I'm happy with this, how this came out. And yeah, guys, if you've done this technique or think you should have a go trying this technique, again, let me know in the comments, just so I can see what you think about this sort of style of miniature painting. So just before we have a good look at this guy, well, all finished, just to let you guys know, if you are into orcs and Star Wars, yeah, look out for the video that's probably going to come out this coming weekend, as it's the good old AT-AT walker with some orcs. As this is what I'm currently painting, although I'm in a bit of a dilemma on the sort of colour of this, to leave it this sort of metallic look, or to paint it possibly purple for stealthy, or red for speed. Anyway, that's in the next video, so don't forget to click the subscribe button so you can, well, be notified when that does come out. So yeah, this little guy just pops off my little paint handle from Red Grass Games. Go check out the links down below. And yeah, absolutely love how this guy's come out. And don't forget to check out the link down below to World Forge Miniatures, where you can get hold of this this chap for free, and also have a good old look at all the other sort of stuff they do, which is just going to be awesome for all the D&D sort of campaigns and one-shots I'm looking at doing. So yeah, it really plays how this dude's come out, and I say the black shading obviously does, or the black lining even, really does tie the whole thing in, and yeah, it gives him that sort of comic book style. And I say it is fun to do a miniature that is a nice, bright, bold colours, rather than, yeah, the sort of darker, weather-beaten, worn look. Yeah, absolutely love him, and I'm sure one day I will do an orc kill team, just because, well, I really want to see an orc kill team look like this that I can use and play. There is another video on the screen, guys. Give that a click, see more what I do. And yeah, please help me to get to 100,000 subscribers by liking, sharing, subscribing, and, well, let all your mates know. Okay guys, you all take care, and I'll see you in the next one for the Orc AT-AT vehicle. See you later. Bye now.